I have a lot of Instagram growth videos on my channel, but the point of this one is to make it stupid simple for you guys that are busy. This is Instagram growth for dummies. And if you guys don't know me, my name is Mitchell. This is what I do on my channel. I get paid to run social media full-time for a couple of different companies, and I've taken an Instagram account of my own to over 30,000 followers. First things first, for whatever page that you're trying to grow, you need to be clear on what direction you're going to take that page in. You need to have a clear idea of what kind of content you want to post and generally what you're going to talk about. Ideally, you should have a kind of targeted subject matter or niche already picked out. What you don't want to do is have a bunch of different subject areas that you talk about simultaneously. This is going to make it harder to grow on Instagram's algorithm. So what you really want to do is narrow it down to one focus that you can be one of the best at talking about. Now, regardless of what you might hear, this is where your content becomes the most important thing for you to worry about. Your content is ultimately what's going to help you to get in front of that target audience and help grow your page, get people to notice you. So what you need to do with your content is really focus on providing value. You got to look at your audience and go, what questions might they have? What problems might they have? What interests might they have? How can I provide value based around that audience to that audience? A lot of people get hung up in little things like, should I be posting photos? Should I be posting reels? All of this can be tested and will change over time. Sometimes reels get more traction. Sometimes photos get more traction. You want to be testing this over time, but you want your core content model to actually provide value regardless of if it's in a picture, a story post, a video, a long form video. Ultimately, you want to focus on how am I giving these people value to keep them coming back to my page. Now, assuming that you're new to the whole social media game, making content online, it might be a little bit hard for you to identify what are the best ways that I can provide value to my target audience. Now, one of the kind of hacks that you can do is you can look at the leaders in your niche, right? The leaders in your space talking to your target audience. What kind of content are they making? What kind of problems are they solving for the audience? How are they helping them and getting that audience to come back to their page? Ultimately, early on, if you're kind of lost, replicating the winners is a good way to go. After you've got your content strategy roughly mapped out and you're starting to produce good content, the next thing to worry about is going to be contextual targeting. What does that mean? On different social media apps, there are ways to get in front of your target audience. You can use things like location tags, reels topics, hashtags. You want to use all of those additional tagging features to get in front of your target audience, right? If you're a business, let's say in Missouri, you don't want to use location tags in New York City. You ultimately want to use these tagging features to be as contextual as possible to the type of audience that you're trying to build. And just a small tip for you, the max amount of hashtags that you can use on Instagram is 30. Now you want to use all 30 hashtags on every post when you're first starting out. You want to make sure, again, that those hashtags are contextual, but also that they're not too frequently used. So if you tap on a hashtag on Instagram, you can see how many posts have been made under that hashtag. You want to try and keep all the hashtags that you use under 250,000 posts. You want to use the mid-size to the smaller size hashtags where you can actually be competitive and get found. Now, the next big tip that I can give for you, a lot of you guys are not going to like, but it does work well, and that's the follow for follow method. So what is the follow for follow method? Basically, you're going to go to competitor pages that are similar to yours. So people in your topic area, preferably smaller pages like yours. And you're going to want to go into their recent posts and see who's liking their posts, who's commenting on their posts. Okay, this is an engaged part of their audience. What you want to do is you want to follow those people, several of them each day, because a percentage of them will follow you back. And this is a way of showing Instagram's algorithm exactly who you want your target audience to be, so that when the algorithm is later trying to push your content, they can push it to the right audience. Now, Instagram has put restrictions on the follow for follow method, so you can't spam it too aggressively. You can't just follow thousands of people each day. If you've got a brand new page, you might only want to follow about 8 people, 10 people every 2 hours. If you've got an older page that's been around for a year plus, you can probably get away with following 15 to 20 people every 2 hours. A percentage of them are going to follow you back. So early on, when you don't have any momentum, this is a way for you to kind of build that audience and get Instagram's algorithm to take you more serious and build that momentum. One last growth hack that is worth talking about is what Gary Vee calls the $80 strategy. It's the idea that you want to comment on 90 posts per day that are similar to the type of posts that you're making for your audience. Basically, you want to meet your audience in someone else's comment section. Now, personally, I don't think this works as great as the follow for follow method does early on, but it is something to do and consider, especially over time as you grow. I've got buddies that they talk to people in the comment section, and before they know it, those people are reposting their posts, which is a big way to grow, is to really build believers by interacting with those people one-on-one. Now, I want to take a second here to really make it clear that growing on Instagram is not super easy. It's not going to happen super fast. It is tough and it does take time. And I'm saying that as somebody that gets paid for a living to do this. It's going to take you time. But there are certain thresholds or levels that once you pass them, your growth is going to speed up significantly. Instagram's algorithm is going to start to take you more serious and really push you out there in front of more people. And as of right now, what I've kind of seen for that threshold is it's going to be somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 followers. Once you have 5,000 to 6,000 real people following you, Instagram's algorithm is going to start taking you more serious and giving you greater distribution. You might see your growth really start to pick up once you get to that point. Another thing to know about Instagram's algorithm is that it works on a basis of trust. So if you're doing anything kind of suspicious that the algorithm might think that you're a bot, then Instagram's algorithm is not going to give you more reach and help your page to grow as much. So some things that you don't want to do are covering topics that are kind of gray area topics. You don't want to cover anything that might get your page banned or use any hashtags that are sort of shadow banned, right? Any like bad words, foul language, suggestive content. You don't want to use any tagging or make any content along those lines. You don't want to log into your account on more devices than you absolutely need to. If one account is logged into on a bunch of different devices, they start to devalue your trust and look at you like, hey, that might be a bot. Another thing to consider is that you don't want to get action bans. This occurs when you do too many things too fast on Instagram. So we talked about with the follow for follow method, how many people it is safe to follow. If you tried to follow, let's say 1,000 people in 2 minutes, you're going to get an action ban. Instagram's going to look at you and go, ooh, that's kind of suspicious. All of these things will lower your trust score with Instagram and make it so that it's harder for you to grow in the future. Now, I know this video is supposed to be an Instagram for Dummies video, and we're kind of covering the algorithm, but Instagram's algorithm really does dictate so much of what happens on Instagram that you need to know it if you want to get the fastest growth possible. So think about what Instagram's goal is as a company. They want to keep eyeballs on their platform so that they can sell more ads. They want you to use the app for longer, right? So their algorithm is going to try to help them accomplish that. The algorithm is going to reward content that keeps people looking at that post or that content for longer. So videos that people watch through more than once. Maybe carousels that people spend time reading each slide, or they spend time reading these long captions. All of these ways that you can keep people on your content for longer and keep them coming back to your page, Instagram's going to reward you for it. They're going to give you more reach. You want to make sure that you're always posting killer content and not filler content, because you don't want Instagram's algorithm to look at it and go, ooh, people are exiting the app after looking at that dude's content. It must suck, because then they're going to devalue your content and not push it as far. Now, let me just give you 2 last tips, and then I'll let you get out of here and go grow your page. The first is that when Instagram in the future drops these updates, they add new features, you want to be one of the first adopters of these features. What these features are going to do a lot of times is give you outsized reach, as Instagram tries to push people to adopt these new features. So when Reels first came out, I had 5,000 follower weeks. I was getting 5,000 followers a week for a couple of weeks there, just abusing Reels. I had Reels that got over 30 million views. So when they drop these new features, make sure that you're abusing them and trying them out as much as possible. On top of that, don't be afraid to remove fake followers from your account. Fake followers are like anchors, right? If you've got people that follow you, but they don't actually like or engage with any of your content, they're never looking at your page, you can tell that they're bot profiles. It's more worth it to kind of cut the fat off your page and remove these followers. Don't be afraid to do that, because ultimately you want your engagement to be better so that Instagram will push your content further. Hopefully that helps you guys out. Truly, thank you for watching. My name is Mitchell. This is kind of what I do. This is my thing. I try to help y'all grow on social media. So hopefully you can make a living off of it like I do. But I love y'all. God bless. Hit me with any questions in the comment section. Have a good one, y'all.
The road get rocky again. I'm back in this thing and I brought me a friend. My sin and thought it could win. I throw up a prayer, it's going to win.